Welcome everyone to another week, another fabulous week of Aussie Mac Zone. How was this week? How have you found this week going? All right? I hope so. The end of another week and we've got another heap of stories to go through. Maybe, I don't know, maybe an apology or two to Apple. Who knows? But I think, first of all, look, let's introduce Michael first. Hello, Michael. How you going?
Hey, Glenn. Hello, everyone.
So what's been up? What's news with you before I get into my apology?
Just slaving away and getting my car sorted.
Oh, what's up with the car?
I had to get an engineer certificate because I had an aftermarket turbo and due to some other problems, ran out of rego. So now I've had to go through a big fuss to get it sorted. But got sorted this afternoon. So
yeah, right. Good. So this week it is just me and Michael and myself this week. So that's if it seems a bit quiet around here, it is. But we still haven't let the amount of goodness stop just because it's us two, have we, Michael? It's
no,
jam
got it flowing.
We have flowing until there's no there's no tomorrow. But look, I'm not sure. Last week did I mention, or I think it might have been on the Aussie Tech Heads podcast. I don't know, but there was a story through the week, and it was all about snow leopard end of life. And all this sort of stuff. You know, Apple's just quietly stopped doing updates for it. Apparently, everyone's picked up the story. Everyone's had a bit of a rant about it, including us. Well, including me. But it was all false. Apple's come out and said, no, you can still get snow leopard in the store. You can still buy it. We haven't disregarded it. We haven't swept it under the carpet. It's still a valuable part of the family. So there you go. Snow leopard is still being updated by Apple for security breaches and so forth. Apparently, the article that I was referring to when I spoke about it last week was by some Apple hater. So that's I don't know what I was doing even reading that. But anyway, I've crossed him off my list.
It was from a reputable magazine, and just that it didn't need that particular security update.
That's right, yes. And I suppose we're living in a world now that we think, well, each month we just come to expect security updates because we just know that things just don't work. But Snow Leopard, well, what does he say? What's Apple saying, that the go-to fail or whatever it was didn't affect the Snow Leopard?
It wasn't in the code for Snow Leopard, yeah.
Yeah, right. So this is the Safari. This is where they're talking about, the Safari bug.
Yeah.
So
and it must have been just with the next version of Safari, it must have just been copied and pasted twice. That's all.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, right. So, but anyway, so if you're still out there on Snow Leopard, yeah, don't panic.
Don't feel lonely.
No, that's right. There's plenty of
it. It's like 20%.
Yes, yeah, it's still up there. It's still a fair few people. All right, now that that's out of the way, each week the bandwidth for Aussie Mac Zone is brought to you by Aussie Tech Heads Web Hosting. You can find them at athwebhosting.com.au, and you can get great little plans from $5.95 a month. That's cheaper, double the price. So, so go and have a look at those. You can install, things like Joomla, WordPress, all that sort of stuff. 2 clicks of a button. You got a little CMS installed. So it's really good. Also, domain registration, all that sort of stuff. So go and have a look at athwebhosting.com.au. So welcome, yes, as to wherever you may be listening to us around the country on the Phase FM network, through the podcasting or live in the lounge. So good evening to those in the lounge, or good day to those in the lounge. I hope you're following along. All right, let's get straight into some stories. Hey? I think we'll start off with the iPhone 5S, soon to account for 1 in 5 iPhones. Wow, that's massive. So the 5S. So I think when it was coming out, everyone's saying, well, we need the next iPhone to have the RFD chips in it. We need it to have all this and this and that and this. And the Samsung seemed to be having it all, but Apple said, no, we're not ready for all this sort of stuff. Let's just pump out what we've got. And the 5S, it's pumped out. And here we go. It's going great guns. I don't know about the 5C, but what's your take on that one, Michael? You're a 5S man. You loving it?
I'm enjoying my 5S immensely, yeah.
Still a dual 5S man?
I still would have thought about sorry, say it again?
You still a dual 5S man?
No. We came to an agreement with that.
All right. Yeah, so, sorry, keep going.
No, but, yeah, it's really good. I like the fingerprint sensor. I haven't had any problems with that at all. But yeah.
So
will the 5C model catch up? I'd still like to sell that many phones.
Yes.
I'm sure I'm sure BlackBerry would like to sell as many phones as the 5C sold.
They'd like to sell probably 5% as many. According to the latest statistics from analytics firm Mixpanel, Apple's iPhone 5S is about 20% of the iPhone market share and will soon overtake the iPhone 4S. Well, I would say that I would expect the 4S, yes, to be sliding. Interestingly, it's taking over. The 5 has gone, the 5 is not in the equation. But then I would suggest that with the 2-year contracts, especially that we have in Australia, then people who are on a 4S, they sort of miss the 5 cycle. They're coming off contract and going on to the 5S. So I'd say that's probably why that is like that. And
that sort of shows you how popular the 4S really was too.
Yes. Oh, look,
and still is as the second phone for a while there.
Yeah, well, my wife has still got her 4S. She loves it. She's out of contract now, and can't be bothered updating. Why? And my mum, she's on the 4S, and yeah, she's just loving it. My brother's on the 4S, and but as the phones probably get older and contracts come and go, and as the argument we had, I don't think it was on this show, was it? It was maybe on the Aussie Tech Heads, but the argument about is it better to buy outright or buy on a plan? What's cheaper wise? And my thought, well, look, I remember I got heaps of emails about it because I said it was cheaper to do it on a plan. But then emails and different points of view came in, and which sort of went down the line of, yes, well, okay, if I'm looking at a Telstra plan, yes, I think it's better to buy it on the plan because like what it costs you $20 a month. For the MRO, is that what they call it? The mobile something, the $20 a month you pay for the phone, times your 24 months that you're on a contract, divided by 2 because they give you back $10 a month. So the phone costs you $240. Whereas if you go and buy it outright, it costs you $800. But then the emails I got was all about, well, okay, well, on Telstra you only get 1 gig. On Optus you get maybe 3 gig. Here you get 5 gig, and here you get more calls. And I said, yeah, okay, fair enough. You just got to do your due diligence. But yeah, so the 5C, let's move on to the 5C because we don't want to talk about the stupid that stupid argument again. But the 5C languishes at about 6%. So I'd say that's because, I don't know, Michael. I would say because. What's the extra $100? And if it's on a contract, it's spread over the 2 years. So why not go the gold? Go for gold.
Yeah, go for gold. That's right.
Yeah, and the gold 5S. You got the gold one, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Oh no, I got the black one. No.
Oh, okay, the blackie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So so you're saying you use the fingerprint. So you do all your iTunes purchases, all that. Everything's fingerprint.
Everything's fingerprint, yeah.
Yeah, nice. And no drums.
And it works. I spent some time putting in extra readings that you can do. You can give it lots and lots of readings, more than whatever it stops at, 8 or 10 or whatever. You can keep going.
So what do you mean readings?
So when you're actually programming it,
yeah.
If you go in now and it'll tell you, if the first time you set it up, it might stop at 8 and say, okay, I've read that one, do another finger.
Oh, okay.
You can either keep going there, like lots and lots. You can do 20 if you want to,
or
right. you can come back and do it again later on. So, you can go in and keep programming your thumb, your left thumb and your right thumb and whatever fingers you've set up. So mine works great.
So why would you keep doing the same finger or your thumb? Is that just to give it all angles and all possibilities of
yeah,
okay, right. So you put your toe on it?
Well, there were comments about other parts, but no, it wasn't my toe.
I wouldn't surprise me what other people put on there. I mean, crazy stuff. But
crazy stuff.
Yeah, the 5C, look, I know people who've got 5Cs. They're happy. Probably the less technological and the older person will go over the 5C. But yeah, it looks like the 5S is the super duper one. By the time I'm off contract, I'll be on the 6 cycle, the iPhone 6 cycle. So we can only sit and ponder with what's going to
Looking forward to it.
Yes, and look, I'm sure you can get onto Google now and you Google iPhone 6 rumours, and I'm sure you're going to find photos, you're going to find info, you're going to find what bars to go to see him on the stools, all that sort of stuff. Oh, no, yeah. Yeah, I know. It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. But, yeah, so there's the iPhone. Okie dokie. Okay, let's stop him there. That's our first 10. So, what I did on Thursday night is, so you know that I've stopped and I'm not just having a conniption or something. I'll go like this. Okay. So
that's all right. I got you.
Okay, cool. and then if I start babbling, well, more than normal anyway, I'm trying to fill in.
That's right.
Okay. Now we'll come back with, yes, the iOS 7 arrives.
Yeah.
Right.
There was an editing mistake last week too. Just on the radio show, that just one intro, they played like the first 30 seconds twice. I don't know whether that was them or you, but
on the intro.
Oh no! When they come back from playing songs, it was probably the third time. They started playing the song, finished playing the song, and then it comes back, and then we started our conversation, and it went for about 30 seconds, and then they played it again. That first 30 seconds coming back in after
weird.
the song.
Weird. Oh, okay. Keep an eye on it this week because, that is weird. That is weird because it's supposed to be all controlled by scripts. And and so because I put the file up, and then that's weird how it would. Who knows? Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll keep an eye on that then. Okay. So go. Check your iPhone, Michael, because apparently there's an update, and you know all about updates. What's the update? What's happened?
I've done it, and it was great. iOS 7.1's arrived.
Sweet.
So that there's a fair few things here, so it may sound like I'm reading it out, which I am. Yeah. The release notes accompanying the update includes improvements and bug fixes. That's just their standard line. And so there are user interface enhancement, like the phone call answer buttons changed. It's now got 2 coloured buttons and 2 just words,
Ooh.
There's CarPlay, which is this new thing that they've introduced for newer cars. Right. In my Ferrari, I'm waiting for it to turn up. Siri, so you can manually control Siri's listening. So you hold the button in, talk to it, and let the button go. So if you're in a noisy environment, for example, it'll actually knows when you're stopping talking.
Okay, yeah.
And there's slightly more natural sounding male and female voices for Mandarin, UK English, Japanese, and Australian English.
Yes.
Or Australian English, mate.
Australia, mate. So. Now, just before I know there's a few more thingos there, a few more updates. Yeah. But look, while we can we just pause in the middle there because I did update just before the show, and I'm going to ask Siri something just so you can hear the difference. Well, you can hear the Australian version. I think she has got a bit more of an Australian tone to her. I think it's not as tangy or twangy as as she used to be. But then again, who knows?
Yeah, so she's moved from Texas to San Francisco. I think that's
yeah. So maybe I could. What can I ask her that she'll do something? I'll say, "Hello Siri, read me a story."
I'm certain you've heard it before.
Oh no, that was pretty good. That sounded
that was very good. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one. Okay, Siri, what is the best show on TV?
I can't help you with TV. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I think that's a lot better, isn't it?
Yeah.
Say we'll say,
good example. Yeah.
Say pronounce Australia.
Which Australia?
Oh, yeah. Which Australia, mate? Which Australia, mate?
Is that like mainland and Tasmania?
Yeah, which one? Which Australia do you want? Yeah, so, that's good. Yeah, so it looks like it works. So that's great.
Yeah, definitely improvement there. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Let's, yes, continue the comment and continue.
There's a search field in iTunes Radio now. Cool. So you can easily create your own stations. There's calendar changes and country-specific holidays are automatically added for many countries. Accessibility, so the bold font's now there on the keyboard and the calculator and many of the icon glyphs. The reduced motion option now includes weather, messages, and multitasking UI animations, and new options to display button shapes, dark colors, and reduce the white point. There's new camera setting to enable HDR automatically. iCloud keychain support in many countries. FaceTime is cleared when you answer a call on another device.
Oh, yeah.
Home screen crashes should be less of a problem. I think what they mean by a crash there is the springboarding, where it just goes off and comes back on.
Oh, yes, yep.
They've improved the Touch ID. They've improved performance for the iPhone 4. They've definitely done that because my second phone's an iPhone 4.
Oh, right.
It's definitely better already, yeah.
Right. So if you had...
Sorry, go on.
Sorry, I was going to say, if you had your time again, would you have updated your 4 to 7.1 even? Or would you have rather just kept it at 6 if you had your time again?
I will always do the updates.
Right.
Because that way I can empathise with people that have had a problem.
So when you're using your 4, so your 4 on 7.1, it's not laggy or it's not jumpy or anything. It's smooth.
Definitely better. Yeah, it's definitely better.
Right. Not as far. So just slower, but not as jumpy or
smoother. Just little. They had some answer phone animations and things. So the iPhone 4 still slide to open instead of pushing a button and having 4 options there. And
right, cool. All right, and I suppose it's just a couple. There was a couple more. Was there? How many more were there?
Yeah, on this half, there's a display. Fixes a display of mail unread badge for numbers greater than 10,000. If you've got 10,000 unread mails, it shouldn't be on the display anyway.
No, geez.
Should be working, not reading the display.
So obviously, have they identified a problem here? Or is it, so fixed display of mail unread badge for numbers greater, is that a problem? That's not a problem.
That's not a problem for the phone. That's a problem for the owner.
That's right. Geez, 10,000. Well, I'll tell you. My wife, she's on Gmail, and like you look at her email, she obviously does not archive anything. Her email is up to like 88,000.
But there's unread.
Yeah.
Unread emails.
Yeah, I think that's right because hers come up as well with numbers. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what she wants to run her life.
And there's been some other interface refinements, they say. So
there's always.
I haven't found all of those yet.
All right. So what else can we expect out of this update? Not just obviously phone enhancements. Are there any app enhancements or so forth?
Yep. We're ready to roll with those too. So
great.
We've got iOS remote, which is great for using on your Apple TV. Just much easier, especially when you're trying to type in things.
Yes.
Just so much easier.
So what's the update for that? Just quietly?
The remote now allows users to control a radio for Apple TV, and it lets you purchase movies and TV shows in the app and then play them on the Apple TV.
Oh, nice. I'm just opening up my remote app now, actually, to have a quick look. Yep. Yes, right. Nice. Yep.
So GarageBand, GarageBand addressing bugs that Apple characterizes as minor. So there must have been just some little things they could fix and didn't worry about talking about them. Logic Remote fixed an issue that prevented scale modes and chord strips from updating to the current project key. And that obviously meant a lot to Logic Remote users. And the podcast app resolves an issue where the 15-second skip back button didn't appear on the lock screen.
Okay. Okay. So, but I mean, with GarageBand, just touching on GarageBand for a minute, I wonder how many people do use GarageBand on the iPhone. It's a bit small, but I suppose people must do it. They must.
Oh well, I think there's podcasters use it for doing interviews.
Right.
Just doing the recording for the interview.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
News guys, I would say news people. You see them doing recordings again for the interview. It's a good way of really quickly getting a soundbite and then editing it and then chucking it up to the.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
Something like that,
Yep. I can understand.
I think that's just a really quick way of doing it.
Yeah. Okay. I've learned something there. Because I often thought, what wouldn't that be too small? Why would you bother? But I can see the advantage now. You've opened my eyes.
Well, how many people do you see with their hand up, chucking their phone at someone?
Well, that's right. Well,
in the press rush.
Yes, well, I had used a app called, is it Mimo or something? I'm not sure if it was a standard one or one I downloaded, and Audio Mimo or something. That's the one I was using. Yeah. And that did work, but I'm not. Look, to tell you the honest truth, I don't know what format it was in, and I remember I did have trouble getting it off the phone and into something else. So maybe if I might have to try GarageBand. I will try GarageBand, and obviously that's going to just sync and move straight across to me little Mac, and I could probably slip it straight in. So
yeah, but if you're the reporter in Canberra, or you've just been sent to a job out at Bullamakenka,
yes,
you go out there, do the 5-minute interview with 30 other people, and you're trying to be the first one to get that interview on the radio back in Sydney or something.
Yeah.
You're going to do a quick edit in GarageBand, get your 30-second snippet.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Like, I thought the phone. I thought the phone the screen would have been a bit too small. But I tell you what, I did do on the weekend. I went away from home, excuse me, and on the weekend, and for some reason the YouTube video didn't work for last week's show, and it didn't upload properly, and it was corrupted. So I had to do it again, but I was away. So I used TeamViewer on my phone and remoted into my computer at home and re-uploaded it. And I mean, I thought this is not going to work because I've got two screens at home, and I've only got one little tiny iPhone screen. But I loaded it all up, and she worked. I could zoom, you could zoom into the screen and just move around the screen, and it didn't take me too long at all. So I guess GarageBand's just as easy. I never really thought about it, but that's great. I'm going to suss that out too. Yeah.
Hasn't technology come a long way? But yes. Seriously, only in a couple of years.
Yes. Oh, that's right. That's right. Like remoting in and stuff like that. That's just mental.
Imagine trying to do remoting in like you were doing on a little old Motorola or a Sony flip phone or.
Oh no, no! You couldn't a BlackBerry.
You'd die, wouldn't you?
Yeah. All right. Keep.
So we also had one more, like the Apple 6.1 update was there as well, part of the deal. And that lets us reduce the number of channels on the home screen. So you're just basically clicking on it and say, hide this. If you're never going to watch World Wrestling in America or there's stations on Apple's home screen here I'd never watch.
Oh, so yeah, NBL and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
They should do the same with Foxtel. But yes.
and many developers today released updates to their apps too, because I've got about 7 already.
Have you ever come across apps that don't work with iOS 7 that stopped working? Did you come across any of those?
Yeah. Oh, I'd have to think what they were now, because that's...
Yeah, it doesn't matter what they were.
There were a few, yeah.
Yeah, because I was hoping that they would come back, with just different little updates to the iOS as it went along. I thought, they forgot to put something in. Yeah, or something.
Yeah, there's one that I use, which is... for letting my iPad be a second screen from a computer.
Oh, yeah.
Same Wi-Fi network. Yep. So if I'm away, I can have 2 screens. You can have one showing the client on one side and you just maneuvering things on the computer on the other. And that one stopped working with 7, and it took him about, it'd be good 8 or 9 weeks.
Yeah, right. Well, I've had an app that stopped working, and it was a paid app. I paid $35 for it, and it's still not working. And so I've recontacted him and the developers, and I've said, well, this is still not working, and he goes, wait.
Yeah,
so I just have to wait. So I'm waiting. All right. So it looks like the 7.1 is out. So if you've got an iPhone 4 onwards, go and download 7.1. And at least the best part about that is you get Siri, an Australian Siri. Well, as close as I think we're going to get to an Australian Siri. And there's a lot of other little goodies there as well. So make sure you go out and get 7.1. All right. Sweet.
Have you been to see your mate? Because the next one starts at your virus story from last week. Did you go and see your mate?
No, he is not. He is in the US. But I did look further into that, and other people have had the same problem. That the ISP has chucked them off, and till they've sorted it out. Carrying on, I do make users so.
Must be a Queensland thing.
No, because this guy I was talking to was in Canberra, so I don't know. It must be an Optus thing, maybe. But
maybe.
But apparently, like, because on one of my, I won't get into a full big discussion, but one of my websites was coming up, malware ahead and all this sort of stuff. But it wasn't because there was malware there. It was because there was malware there, and McAfee kept reporting it as bad. And this scanner software was going, well, if it's blacklisted, well, we're going to say it's bad. And so I had to write to McAfee and ask them to review their rating for the site. And then not till then did I get the clean bill for the site from McAfee. But I mean, like the ISPs, like in that story last week, they're not going to go. Obviously, not. I don't know what they were doing. I just don't know. But he got kicked off. I spoke to someone else, and they said, they know someone that got kicked off. Well, it wasn't them, but obviously, must happen. But anyway, yeah, I suppose the ISPs don't want spam shooting out everywhere, do they? Because it would blacklist their mail server.
That's right. Yeah.
So yeah. All right. Let's come back to this. To there. If you're a PC user, good on you, and thanks for listening to the show. But you would know that viruses are the absolute, worst thing that you can ever get onto a computer. Some viruses will encrypt the whole contents of your computer up, never to be seen and used again, unless you pay some dude $300, and even then you're not guaranteed of getting the key. But last week I spoke about viruses and ISPs and all this sort of stuff. I didn't go back and speak to my mate, but I did speak to other people, and they've also had similar problems, or not similar problems, but similar experiences with the ISPs actually booting you off the service until you clean your crap up, because obviously they don't want their mail servers rubbished. But viruses are not restricted to PCs any longer. Michael, are they? You running a virus software program?
No, I personally haven't since OS 10 first came out.
Right.
I stopped, like OS 9, you needed a antivirus software. OS 10, I haven't used one. I go to lots and lots and lots and lots of sites.
Yep.
Occasionally, I have the screen come up saying this site's bad. Just be careful what you're doing.
Yes.
Or it's got malicious software on the site. That Apple's software tells you that.
Yep.
It's not a third-party program that I've got running. That's just Apple Safari tells me that site's got something bad. I personally don't recommend it to any of my customers from Mac, except if they're worried about transferring documents in the office or with people from the Windows side. So because you can have Word or Excel macro viruses.
Yep.
And you could get a document from person A, review it, look at it on your side. The macro virus won't run on your machine, but you could then send that to somebody else.
Yes, right.
And infect them. So if you do that sort of thing a lot, then unfortunately I'd say put more memory in your machine and get an antivirus software.
Now, is it true that the Apple stores are recommending antivirus software? Do you know? Is that or just a fable?
No, I've heard more than one person say that they've said, get antivirus software, or it's up to, they sort of tell people that it's available.
Yep.
Whether they've been told to cover their butt a little bit, I couldn't say.
Well, look, I suppose to be honest, I have never put antivirus on my little Mac Mini. I've had it since I bought it. What did that come with? Mountain Lion. So I've gone through since then. I've had it a couple of years now, I'd say. And I've never put any antivirus on that. What would you, if you were going to put one on, what's out there? Do you get the old, the old regulars, AVG and Avast and all that sort of stuff, or is there different ones?
Well, I think I'm not sure about AVG. Trend, I think, have one. Norton have one.
Right. Okay. Right.
They're the only two that I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah. You had any knowledge on whether or not they're heavy? Sitting with the operating system, or they run pretty light?
No, I think they're still heavy because they've got to check everything you do.
Yeah. Right. Yes.
But basically, anything that goes in and out of that machine is checked.
Yep. Yeah. I've seen the Safari warning every now and then. Yeah, and I think it's along. Does it use the Google warnings, or is it just does its own little warnings?
No, as far as I know, it does its own.
Yeah, okay, right. Because sometimes if you're on the, you can get Google warnings, can't you, as well? If Google's blacklisted, if Google's blacklisted it, the Google screen will come up. But then, yes, I have seen a different screen for Safari. Yes, you're right. That's right. Yep. All right. So Mac users, it's probably up to you whether or not you do that. Michael and myself don't do it at this point in time. Should we
back up and live on the edge?
Yeah, why not? What about updates, Michael? Should we be doing updates like the Mac OS X updates?
Yeah, well, I tend to wait maybe a couple of days. Just depends on what one it is and how bad it is, or how bad it's reported. And I tend just to try and, if it's the only design machine in the office, I would not do the update immediately.
Right.
Or if it's doing a specific task and it's the only machine in the office doing that specific task, I wouldn't update it immediately. I'd tend maybe just wait 2 days just to see what happens on the forums.
So how often or how long do these updates sit in incubation, do you reckon? Like, as in getting ready and testing and stuff like that? They'd be thoroughly tested though, wouldn't they? Or supposedly.
Yeah.
Updates. I think I do updates. I don't know, when I get sick of looking at the stupid thing in the top right of the screen. Okay, yeah, righto. So I'll probably do them straight away most of the time, actually, just to get rid of that thing. And what's
then if something went wrong, you'd be one of the first to complain too, and then we'd hear about it.
Oh, of course.
And not do it.
Of course. And what are Apple push updates?
Yeah, so for malicious software that Apple are aware of, they don't necessarily do an update to the whole operating system. They just, in the background, push an update to your machine and, say like a blacklist type thing.
Okay.
They push it to your machine. They don't say anything to anyone. So that way the baddies have got to keep checking their machine to see if the update's been done. And
Right.
Yeah.
So I suppose at the end of the day that, is that if you keep your updates regular, just wait a few days after they appear, and just make sure and see who cries about them. And
that's right.
And if no one's crying, well, you can go ahead and install them. And as far as antiviruses go, just live on the edge. Live on the edge, as Michael says. Yes. What other security? Is there any other security precautions you can take? Or I suppose you just don't go to the real bad internet sites, I guess.
Unfortunately, it comes down to the bit where if I click on a photo in Google Images when I've just searched for kettles, as an example, and I click on it and it says you need a codec to view this image, I would stop. But it takes just that thinking, just for that few seconds. Why would I need a codec to look at what's a JPEG image, for example?
Yes. Well, I think that's where they... was it the Conflicker or that encryption virus that was coming through email, and not so much for Macs, but I remember on the PC. But this is how easy it is for these things to happen. It was you'd get an email from a friend, and it said, "Oh, check out this PDF or this white paper I just wrote. It's interesting. Give me your feedback before I submit it." And it was like whitepaper.pdf, but then what you couldn't see was it was then .exe. At the end of that.
And then that's right.
Yeah, people just double clicking on it, hoping for a PDF to come up, but it was encrypting their whole hard drive. So that was that's a nasty one. Yeah. But I suppose,
and also like there's lots of things like you see emails coming through with we've just amended your pay, and here's your bonus. Was this what you're expecting? and people tend to double click on that just because they're nosy about what someone else is doing. It's got nothing.
Yeah,
it's not even someone they know. It's just a bit of crap email, and people double click on it, and it'll just run something without you knowing.
And also, there was the Apple emails that were coming through last month.
Just recently we had those, and they went from Apple. They looked like they were from Apple, and it said apple.co.eu or something, didn't it?
Right.
I can't remember what.
Yeah,
it wasn't apple.com.au or .com. It was something weird.
Yeah.
Just takes a little bit of thinking, unfortunately.
Yeah, look, I'm not sure. Does it in Safari, when you hover over a URL, can you see where it's going to take you anywhere?
Yeah. If you have the show bar down the bottom on.
Right.
When you're in Safari, it says show. I'll just look it up for a minute. Sorry.
So while Michael's doing that,
show status bar.
Okay, well that's probably a good tip, because I use that a lot. And that means that you can be in an email, or you could be on the web somewhere, and say that Apple email. Well, if you hover over the URL, look at your status bar, it'll tell you where that link's going to take you. And if it's going to take you to, like apple.co.eu, we go, well, shouldn't this be coming from apple.com? Or something like this, and then you think twice about it. And even if you think, okay, well, maybe my password's been hacked or it's been compromised somehow from Apple, well, instead of clicking on the links in the email, well, you just go to apple.com or wherever you go, sign into your Apple account and reset your email from there, your password from there. If you've got concerns,
it's easy to do too.
Yeah,
very easy to do.
Yeah. So so all these things. I think Gmail's pretty good with spam and all that sort of stuff. It sort of weeds a lot of that rubbish out, which is good. But that status bar, I think I use that all the time. So that's a good little thing. Rather than going in blind, you can sort of have a bit of a heads up. Anyway.
Yeah, and I had a Gmail. Gmail now scan the pictures and put them in put them somewhere else.
Oh, right.
And so they're scanning the pictures to make sure they haven't got malicious software in them that are in your emails coming to you.
Yeah, right.
And I've had a couple of issues where pictures aren't showing up that we know for a fact don't have any malicious software in them, but they just took a long time to show up. But I think because it's gone, Google have got to look at it. This is where you just send it from one machine to another straight away on Gmail, and you sort of got to wait till Gmail gets it, inspects it, puts it back, puts the link back up on your email, and then you double click your link. So it just takes that little bit longer. Yeah, if you're trying to hurry to go from one machine to another in the same office.
Some smart cookies working for Google and everyone, all the big companies. Yeah. But just before we finish up with this one, just going back to how you said you can get your viruses through your Word. Your macro viruses and everything that could pass through your Mac and back out and back into the Windows world. Well, another problem, if you muck around with web pages and stuff like that, and you're uploading files to your host and all that sort of stuff, well, that's also dangerous. If you were to get some sort of compromising file, that could come into your computer, into your Mac even, and then while you're fiddling away on your computer, you can be uploading all this nasty stuff as well. So the
biggest security thing I think for a Mac person is backing up. Simple as that. It's really easy to do. Just do a backup.
Yeah, that's easy. Well, you should be backing up. Anyone should be backing up.
Absolutely.
And twice. One in the house and one down your mum's or somewhere like that.
That's right.
Bloody lost me mouse there. Save. All right. So this will be last 10.
This is a good one for you, man.
This starts with it. Yeah, I know. Where's Jace? I was going to give him a bit of a go on with this one. Well, I'm going to still give it to you, Jace, if you're listening. Are you still listening? I'm going to give it to you. A new partnership with startups will let men shop for a tailored suit have their measurements taken. Yep, cool. That only is on one page, isn't it? This isn't too bad, actually. Like one story, one page. I can get into this. This is working okay. I like it. I'll see if I might have to try and do something like this for Thursday nights. Yeah, because I just scroll. I'm forever scrolling. So this could work. This could work. I'll think about this.
And this it auto changes the size of the text depending on how much text there. That's why page 2 has got a lot smaller text than page 5, for example.
Oh yes.
So as you stick a story in there, it just makes the text smaller.
Can I do this on the PC though?
I don't know why not. Why not?
Yeah,
iCloud.com.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Because it comes up, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm not using Keynote from the Mac. All on the.
I'll have a look into that. See if I like it for Thursdays. All right. Okay. Now, are you one of these people that like wearing suits? I know one of our hosts, Jace, not with us tonight, but he's a suit lover. All day he ponces around in his suit. Look at me. It's all. Do you want to have a feel? Feel the lapel and all this sort of stuff. He loves it. He loves it. He does. He loves it. But see, that's what happens when you can't make it to a show.
Serves him right.
You're going to cop it. But anyway, where am I going with this? Have I just taken time out to bag someone? No, this is actually a story. It's a new partnership between 2 Sydney startups. Will let men shopping for a tailored suit have their measurements taken by walk-in 3D body scanners. So, no more inside leg, Mr. Humphreys. That's all gone. It's now
taken the fun right out of it, hasn't it?
It has, yes. It has. The scanners which create a port, I guess, or M-port, however you want to say it, is rolling out in shopping centres around the country. Will send their measurements to online tailoring company In Situ. Customers can log on and order their customised suit, choosing from a range of fabrics, buttons, cuts and colours. They're made in China, delivered direct to buyers within a month, starting at $299. The first scanner is up and running at World Square in Sydney. So, Jace, just a hop, skip and a jump. He'll be in World Square before you know it. Have you got a spare bed, Michael? He'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm sure he's already sent an email to Import saying, I want Adelaide to be next.
Yes. Yeah. And he gets into work and he sends a memo. Everyone, please email Import. See if we can get a scanner in Adelaide pronto. Post haste, please. All right, so that's where the world's going, is it? It's 3D body scanners. But I wonder, walk in. So yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? So like inside leg, I guess it must be taking everything. Must have little lights.
The photo I saw made it look like a portable toilet,
right?
And then because it even had like a place for you to sit down and take your shoes and socks off and put all your clothes in the cupboard and then stand there while it scans you. And
yeah, right. Oh, so like you're in the nude. Do you scan?
I believe so.
Well, I suppose it might have to be.
Reg Grundy's or whatever, yeah.
Well, I suppose, yeah. Well, I suppose you can't go in flopping big bell bottoms or anything. It wouldn't take the right measurements, would it? So, Jace, leave your bell bottoms at home. Okay. All right. So that's all right. So go and have a look at that. If you're interested in that, go to World Square or wherever it was. Understanding
World Square, yep.
Yes. What now, Michael? You're going to talk to us about the iOS activation lock.
Yes. So there's been a bit of a blow up in England around activation lock, which is in iOS 7 this week. A son was trying to get his mother's iPad unlocked after she passed away, and he was having difficulty. He had a letter from a solicitor, a death certificate, a copy of the will leaving the iPad to him. Still no go. So I just wanted to discuss with people what the activation lock is activated when you go to Settings, iCloud, Find My Phone, and push the slider to on so it goes green. And it's great. That means if you lost your phone, you can play sounds through it. If it's stuck behind, you can even have it muted and it'll still play sounds. If it gets stolen, you can see where it is on a map.
Yeah, yep.
If people try and take it down the hock shop and sell it, they can't because they can't wipe it anymore. They can wipe it, but the first thing that comes up on the screen is Find My iPhone's activated. deactivate it before we do any activations on the phone.
Okay. So you can't plug it into your PC or into your Apple and then reset it, like hard reset it like that or anything?
No. In iOS 6, you used to put it into what they call DFU mode and erase the phone, totally erase the phone.
Yeah, yeah.
But now in iOS 7, if you've got Find My iPhone turned on, you still do totally erase the phone. When you connect it to your computer again, it goes up and says to Apple, this UUID's just been erased. What do you want me to do? And it says, put your username and password in. If you don't know the username and password for that phone,
you're stuck.
There's nothing you can do. Absolutely nothing.
Right. So what was the, where did you find that again? In the settings?
Yeah, you go to settings.
Yep.
iCloud.
Yep.
Down the bottom, you got Find My iPhone.
Yep. And so as long as that's on.
As long as that's on.
Yeah.
So even if you've dropped your phone, the screen's not working, nothing, you take it to Apple to get it exchanged.
Yeah.
They'll say to you, I can't exchange it because Find My iPhone is on.
Right.
They'll take you over to a screen at the store.
Yep.
Where you log into iCloud.com, put your username and password in, and turn off Find My iPhone.
Yeah.
You actually delete it from the list of phones that are on your name.
Yep. Great.
So,
brilliant.
And then they'll exchange your phone for you, no problem whatsoever.
Yeah, right. So, so I suppose everyone, I think even when you set the phone up, it asks you if you want to put my iPhone on. And I think everyone should have it on anyway, just in case you lose it. So
absolutely.
Yeah, so that's great. So so you're in favour of this feature?
It's effectively it's made it a worthless bit of equipment for someone who knocks it off. That's what it's all about, and that's what it's done.
Yeah. So you can't do anything with it until you can't play any music, or you can't use it just as an iPod or anything like that. It's totally useless until you put your code in.
Well, you should have a code set for your phone anyway. That's my belief, right? But you'll never be able to update it, and you'll never be able to erase it.
Yeah, right. So going back to this old mate over in England, what was his problem? His old mummy died, and
mum died, and in the will it said, "I leave this iPad to my son," effectively, and he still can't use it because Apple won't unlock it.
So okay, rightio. So do you think that this is just because obviously he's entitled to it? I wouldn't have any problems with that. Would you have a problem with him not?
No, he's done the right thing with regards to I believe all the paperwork.
That's right. Yeah,
there may be a particular law in England that doesn't apply, like that applies over there, that we haven't got out here. Because I've actually spoken to 2 hock shops today about this particular story.
Yeah. Okay.
And because that affects them directly right now.
Well, yeah, because they want to make sure they can resell the phone. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
So on Apple's website, there's a thing to do about, if you're giving your phone to your mate or selling your phone or whatever, it's about 6 pages of information.
Right.
And they've effectively got to do that to every customer that walks in the door with an iPhone or an iPad.
Yeah. Okay. So Apple, do you think it's more of a legal no, or is it just we can't be bothered no, or we better not because we don't really know no?
I think because it's been such it's made big story all over the place. I think it must be a legal no. Like I would have thought someone from Apple, if it had been possible, reasonably easy, one of the managers would have just rung up and said, "Give it to me and I'll fix the problem for you."
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, yeah. So, right. So, maybe Apple doesn't know it. Maybe they can't. Maybe it's what do they call it? One-way hashed or something. Maybe they can't retrieve it. Maybe it's an impossible. So, you don't think it's impossible?
I can't answer that 100%. But what I can say about is
If the NSA asked for it, they'd get it.
Yeah, well, that's right. There may be something really easy. There's some law in England that says you can't do it.
Yeah.
There may be some privacy thing. Even though in her will she said, I want him to have it, if that was 6 months ago, they could have had a massive blow up and, you know, he wants to get it to do. Like, you just don't know. Yeah. Unfortunately.
Well, you don't know. But I suppose if he's, look, you don't know. But I suppose if she's specifically willed it, you think she'd give him the heads up with the, with the code. But I suppose you're not really thinking. So
my bottom line was maybe
bury it
do something with passwords within the family or something.
Maybe just chuck it in the hole as she goes. Just go, see you, mum.
See you, mum. Sorry, mum.
Yeah, but that's right. Don't chuck flowers. Throw me iPhone. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of this week's show. Look, we did have I had a question and Michael had a tip, but we're going to hold that over till next week because it is the end. We're running out of time fast. So we want to thank you for joining us again for another week. Don't forget you can view whatever's going on at the AussieMaxZone.com.au. You can view Michael's stories every day. He puts about 6 or so up there each day as they break, so that's a good little resource. You can follow the Aussie Tech News on Twitter at Aussie Tech News, nice and easy. The Aussie Tech Radio.com.au, the AussieTechHeads.com.au/paper, Facebook.com/Aussie Tech Heads, where you can get iOS apps of the day. You normally pay for them, but then on the day that they're there on the Facebook page, they're free, thanks to the app developer. I don't know, and us. Sounds good, doesn't it? So we lead you to it, so yeah, and us. All right, so that's about it for this week. So thanks once again. However you've listened to us, we appreciate it. Thanks, Michael. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, everybody. Yes, look forward to it, Glenn.
Good stuff. And until then, it's bye for now. Go Sharks.